Welcome to Thriving Tribesmen. My name is Corey, your host. I've just finished a workout and it was as intense as I could possibly get it. And I was just lifting weights. And part of it, the motivation is really, the reason I lift weights is now not for six-pack or for bigger muscles. That's a bonus if that happens, or when that happens is a bonus. But my motivation is more along the sort of keeping my mindset sharp, keeping my mindset strong. Because when you can do difficult things every day, especially like lifting weights, doing hard things, as even if it meant going to do, I do Muay Thai, doing Muay Thai. All those things are very difficult. That hour is a very difficult hour. But as you do it, you get stronger mentally, meaning that it then spills into your relationship where you are more capable of facing difficult situations because you've built a stronger mindset. And that's one of the most important things about it, changing a sexless relationship to sexual success, is that actually having that strong mindset. And when you have a strong mindset, you actually stop being reactive towards her. Because this is one of the biggest things that was a big shift for me. I remember I put on weight. I was a bit older. I was about 30 years old at the time. And I had a very bad diet. And that's from back on my rugby days. I used to eat whatever I want and used to play quite a lot of rugby. Was very trim, but I would eat rubbish. Continued eating rubbish, stopped playing rugby, and then I ballooned. So I thought if I can change that, sort of my diet, and then start exercising, I will have this amazing physique, and then she won't be even able to resist just putting her hands on me all the time. And just to tell you, gentlemen, that was quite the contrary. There was no action. I'd lost weight. I felt confident, but I was still in reaction towards her. So I was doing anything and everything to please her or to impress her, and hoping by impressing her, then there will be some sex going on within the relationship. Unfortunately, that didn't work. And I'm preaching to the choir because you're probably in this situation where you're trying everything. You're doing more dishes around the house. You're doing more cleaning around the house. You're cooking. You're taking care of the kids. You're giving it as much time to rest. And you've even gone to the gym. You've tried to work out, eat more. It's less, sorry. And nothing seems to be changing. And one thing I can tell you is that because you're in reaction, whenever you do that, you are putting pressure on her that it becomes transactional, actually. So that, look at all these things I'm doing. Now, because I'm doing this, be impressed and then give me that opportunity to have sex. And basically that's just putting pressure on her. And this is why when you do all of that, the reaction is opposite to what you think is supposed to be happening. So I started realizing that it's nothing to do with how my body looks. It's got nothing to do with how much I make. It's got nothing to do with how many flowers I buy per year, how many date nights I go on, how many holidays I plan. It's got everything to do with me being non-reactive to her and remaining dominant within most situations. Not dominant over her, but dominant in most situations. And to be dominant in many situations, you have to be strong mentally. And then you have to, which means that I now had to start training. I had to continue training, but instead of training to gain muscle, I started training to gain mental strength. And this is where it becomes very important that when you either running, whether you walking, whatever exercises that you do, you're doing it to the point where you're mentally getting to that point where you can't do any more, but then you do it anyways. When you can do that and you can practice that, this is where you start actually seeing that you can be dominant in many situations. So like the other day, I was in a very bad situation and most people would panic. Most people would go crazy, but I managed to stay cool and collected, dealt with it properly. And then even though it was stress-inducing, allowed that not to dictate the rest of my day. And it's a very important lesson here because how you react to certain situations is exactly what determines whether you have sex or not. If you collapse or implode when things get tough, she won't see you as a leader, and she will feel like she needs to take the lead. And this is a horrible example, but I'll use this as an example. So it's almost similar to a dog. You know, I was listening to a program where they were saying this type of breed is very dangerous. And so if you understand breeds, there's some breeds that are built to protect. So, for example, my favorite dog is a Cane Corso. So, a Cane Corso, these are big, muscular, very strong, very hard bite, and quick to aggression if needed to be. And because if they bond to your family, they're extremely protective. But then the caveat of it is that you have to be a very strong leader. They sense your leadership. They can sense if you're a good leader or you're not a good leader. If you're not a good leader, they take it upon themselves to become the leader of the pack. And this is where it becomes a bit dangerous, because then it will feel like he needs to discipline you. So you end up biting you, your family, your children, and even your family, because he thinks he's in charge. And this is where dominance comes into place, that my decision-making, the way I treat the dog around, when I walk around it, the way I give the commands, the way I give it food, everything has to portray dominance in the situation, not on the dog, but on the situation. And when you can do that, it will respect the fact that you're a leader. And it is so similar. And it's so similar, we miss it because we think we have to go on the date nights. We think we have to do the holidays. You think you have to do the dishes and you have to do the cleaning and do all these things in order to get a favor. It always comes down to the mental strength that you build. And really the best way to build mental strength is to really do difficult things every single day. And as I finished this workout, I was so glad it finished. But more importantly, what was the best thing about it was when I felt like putting the weights down because of giving up, I could do 2 or 3 reps more, in order just to go past that barrier where my mind is telling me no. I just thought of R. Kelly, which is terrible. But I decided to just push through that barrier. And by pushing through that barrier, you're exercising your mind to get stronger. So when you get in those situations, you can then convey dominance over a situation. So hopefully that is very powerful and gives you some ideas on what you might need to do to move from sexless to sexual success. You can join us on Thriving Tribesmen, the Facebook group, where you can learn more of these tactics on how to get better, how to become the man that she craves. So thank you very much. Speak to you soon. Take care.